Hey guys, Ben here. Welcome back to another, oh shit. Wait a minute. Boop, there we go. Hey guys, Ben here. Welcome back to another C programming video. Today we are going to be creating the Win32 platform layer. Um, I decided that I want to do it using Wine because I found this, the GLAD WGL example. Um, We used the GLAD GLX example last time, I think, and I found the WGL one, and I noticed that they're compiling this on Linux using MinGW, which I didn't even know you could do. Apparently, it is what's called a cross compiler, and a lot of you are probably like, totally face palming right now. Like, how did you not know about cross compilers? Like, I guess on some level I kind of did, but I mean, the fact that you could do this is totally just news to me. And then after they compile it, they actually just run it with Wine, which is totally awesome. So that's what we're going to be doing. And I'm pretty sure the Wine compatibility with like OpenGL on Linux is pretty good. So we're going to do that. Now, first things first, in order to get this to work, I had to pull up a lot of different references. It was not immediately obvious just from Microsoft's create a window tutorial, um, because, well, this doesn't do exactly what I need it to do. It does show you how to create a basic window for a Microsoft like GUI application. Man, that fan is ugly in the background down here. Oh man. But what are you gonna do? I would be cooking if it was not on. Alright. Anyway, distracted, like Mondo distracted. Here we go. Let's just kind of go through this, right? Because this is kind of the bare minimum for creating a window. So what you have to do is you have to fill out this function here in order to create the window. But before you can do that, I think, yeah. So this is what you need to do. You need to create a string for the name of your window class, and then you need to create a window class. And a window class is like it's like a prefab for a window, basically. Um, it's a blueprint of a window instead of an actual window, basically, I think, is how it works. You can kind of read more into it here if you want. I'm just going to leave all of these tabs open, and then hopefully I'll remember to put them in the description for you guys. But yeah, it's not hard to find this website. But yeah, once you've created the window class, you just use that to create a window right here. And then if the window is null, then we failed, basically, is how you check errors there. So after all of that, I don't know why they put show window as the next step, because really it should be, oh, actually no, I do know why. Okay, I'll just show this all. So you can see here's them creating the window class right here, and registering the window class, and then here's creating the window, and then checking to make sure it's not null after creation, and then we're going to basically show the window. So honestly, I'm just going to copy this, and then we're going to go into repos. We're going to cd nebtech. I renamed the folder, by the way, to nebtech. In between videos, I decided to name the engine nebtech. So, let's see. Slash platform. Right? That's where we should be, I think. Source, yeah. E source p underscore win32.c. This is where we're going to put our Win32 platform layer. So we're just going to paste that code in there. Perfect, perfect. And then in here, we're going to do some kind of funky stuff. So if GNU-C is defined, which basically means if we're compiling using GCC, if glibc is defined, then what we're going to do is we're also going to check if, let's say, MinGW32 is defined, right? And if those are both defined, then we're compiling for Windows. So if def GNU C, and then, oh, I'm sorry, not if def. This should be end if GNU C, and then, oh wait, there we go. And then this one should be MinGW 32. All right. So this should be everything we need to make sure that this code does not get compiled on X11 on Linux. All right. So the next step is actually to put all of this inside of our pstart function. So pstart is our engine's kind of initialization function. So we're just going to do that. We're just going to go all the way downtown, down here, and then equals I curly brace to indent all of that. Let's go down here, get rid of that. Okay, so this is kind of like a good starting point. We have a window created. I'm just going to run Clang format because Microsoft formats their code especially strangely. Okay, here we go. Next, we're going to process the window messages. And I'm sure I'm just piling up bugs here. We're just going to spend like a lot of time this stream probably, fixing errors and warnings that I cause in this next section. But yeah, so I'm just going to go down to, yeah, this is kind of the meat and potatoes of this section where we just basically need to make a message loop. However, I'm actually going to use the message loop from the GLAD tutorial because this is where we need to kind of differ a little bit. Basically, this is the message loop that we're actually going to want to put into our, yeah, we'll just copy this because this is the actual message loop that we're going to end up using. The difference is that peak message will not halt the program while it processes messages. So it'll kind of like do it async or something. It'll only do one and then just keep going, allowing you to like render the next frame. Whereas this one, this is like treating it as if this is your update function, which I don't really want to do. Like every iteration of this while loop would be considered one frame of the app, which is not what we're trying to do because we have this pprocess function, which is basically our game's update loop. So we really just need to have something like this. And if you think about the X11 code equivalent, and I'll show you that in a second, it's basically the same thing as the xpending function. So we're going to do pprocess. Oh, right. I don't have the header included. Okay. So this is going to be, it's going to take nothing. We're going to paste that in there. Format all of that. And let's see. So syntax highlighting isn't working. I guess that's just kind of par for the course here because we are technically on Linux, so like MinGW32 is not defined, so Vim is like graying all this stuff out. But I think later, when we actually compile it, that should be reflected later. Or maybe if I just do this, maybe? I might regret doing that. But anyway, okay. No, because I don't think Vim actually cares about that compile commands thing. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We can just keep programming in the dark here. Okay, so this is what we got. We have peak message, which will basically just like get a message from Windows, and then translate and dispatch the message, which means just like, I guess it needs to translate it for some reason. I'm not really sure why, but dispatch just means send it to the actual window, and then if the message is the quit message, then we're going to set should quit to true, but should quit doesn't exist, so we need to set internal state dot is running equals false. And we don't have false, so I'll just do 0. Okay, so now we also don't have internal state, so we need struct p state. Oh my gosh. Okay, so struct p state, and then we're gonna have a bool for is running, and that's just about it. That's pretty much all we need in there right now. Okay. However, we're gonna find out that we're gonna have a whole bunch of errors with this, and we'll fix those later. But for now, I just want to get the overall like structure of how to make a window kind of set up. Let's see. Next, after we processed the messages, we need to create the window procedure. Yes, this explains the dispatch message function. I don't know why that's hard to say, but the dispatch message function calls the window procedure. So basically, whenever we're saying dispatch message right here, it's going to call this window procedure function that we're going to make. So this is kind of Windows' own version of like process events, where you can put a switch statement in here depending on which type of message the U message is. If it's like a resize message like this, you can get the new size of the window and stuff. So for right now, I am just going to copy this, and then we're going to paste this up here. And let's see. If I Clang format this, does it fix those? Yeah, it does. Okay, that's great. For the longest time, I would always like go through these manually and fix the curly braces, but I guess I don't have to do that. Okay. There we go. All right, so lresult callback window proc. Basically, this is just the function that gets called whenever we dispatch the message, and it takes in the message as an argument and stuff, and we can see what message it is, and basically this is just like the message handler. So instead of calling this onSize function, which we don't have, I'm just gonna do a printf for, let's say, window size is %d, or not, %d, and then width height. And I think I also want to store those in here. Unsigned int width height. And so now I should be able to also in here, because we want to keep track of this throughout our program. So width equals width right here, internal state dot height equals height. So whenever we change the size of the window, we're basically changing the size of our internal state to reflect the new size of the window, basically. And this will be helpful later on for various reasons. Right now, I think the biggest problems that we're going to have are we don't have the functions defined that we're using in main. So if I go to platform.h, you can see these are all the functions that we need to have defined. So we have p_start. I don't think we have p_is_running. So let's just go ahead and do that, because this one's super easy. Bool p, oops, p, not capital P, just p, is running. Oops. Let's say this takes void. And then we're going to return internal state dot is running, just like that. So I feel like maybe we did this in our X11 layer too. Yeah, we did. So basically right here, it's just exactly the same thing. I'm going to close that file so don't accidentally edit it. Anyway, I think Clang format's going to do that anyway, so I'll just do it. All right. Yep, that's the way it wants it. All right, so now that we have that one, let's do process events. So process events, I think we already did. Yeah, actually, yeah, we did. So that's process events. We're gonna have a little bit more in there, but we also need piece stop. And piece stop, we're gonna wait a little bit to actually, or nah, I'll just do this. I'll just make it like a stub for now, because I don't actually know what I need to do inside of here. So I'll just have it empty. And now basically, I'm pretty sure we're ready to try to compile this. But the issue is our makefile is not equipped for this, like not at all. So we need to do a lot of stuff to our build system. But before we do that, I'm gonna git commit added win32 code, I guess. We're just gonna do that. Oh, right, git add, and then added win32 code. All right, there we go. So now we should be fixing the make file. So we're just gonna start at the top and go through this thing. The platform is X11 by default. That's totally fine. Source directory is source, build is the build directory. Honestly, I want to get rid of all these comments because I'm going to change the make file just like so drastically. These comments are all going to be outdated. So yeah, that should be good. All right, so we have platform, we have source directory, build directory, GCC. This should be fine to stay the same. However, I'm going to want min.gw GCC because we're going to be using that to cross compile. And let's see, if I do x86, x86 64 dash min.gw, no, it's w64 min.gw32 GCC. What a fucking crazy name for a compiler, man. Yeah, that's what we're dealing with here. All right, so next up, now that we have a definition for GCC, I'm actually just going to add the analyzer in there because I believe it has everything that GCC has, so we can just use the analyzer like normal. Let's see here. So C flags, debug, and release, those are not going to change, and then C flags are also not going to change. If the platform is X11, the libs are this, but I also need to say that the compiler is Clang in here, because this is going to be different based on the platform that we're building. So now, let's see, source and object and inc, these can all be moved up here. You'll see why later, or maybe you won't. Maybe I'll forget to explain it. But basically, we're going to need to access these variables like inside of this if statement. So that's going to be essential. Library, right? So instead of having this be platform specific, I'm just going to call it platform.a. And then if we compile for Windows, then we'll have to just recompile it. We'll have to rebuild it. It's not too much of a problem. All of these things, I think, are going to go up here like that. And then we're also going to need a thing for WGL, which is like the Windows equivalent of GLX. It's just an OpenGL like context creation library, I guess. Right. So library is platform.a. That's the thing that we're making. The test is the test executable that we're also compiling. And then these should be our OpenGL kind of object files. Okay, so now let's do this a little better. So the default, yeah, I'm gonna make an all thing in here. all is going to require library, right? Yeah. Or no, it should just be test, I think. And then we can, instead of, wait, dot slash, can I just do dot slash test? Yeah, I think that works. We're about to find out if I'm just royally screwing this up. Let's try to compile. Hey, look at that. All right. So rm rf build. This is the true test. If we can still compile after that, then we did it right. Hell yeah. Perfect. All right. So this is pretty cool. We have the platform working there. And now I'm pretty sure all we have to do to get this to work on Windows, I just copied that whole section, by the way, is we just have to say Win32, and then in here, let's just say GDI 32, I think is what it's called, and then OpenGL 32, and that should be good. So now, let's try to run this. Okay, and you can see also, we're getting a warning here, and I want to address this. So this is cool because it's a pedantic warning, which means it doesn't really matter all that much. Basically, ISOC doesn't allow you to have an empty translation unit, which is what's happening when we're using this if-def thing. Basically, what's happening is since we're compiling the X11 version, of our program, this here, none of these are defined. Well, GNU-C is, but MinGW32 is not defined, right? So that's pretty cool. It's basically just disabling this entire translation unit while we're compiling for X11. Right. So now, this is going to have to be test.exe because that's what MinGW outputs. If you give it a name without the exe extension, it will add it. So that's really nice. That means I don't have to worry about, changing this to be, test and then also test Win32. Oh my gosh, 32 .exe. All right, like I wouldn't have to have two of them. So that's good. Right. So now let's just try to compile this. Bear make bj12 platform equals win32. I think this is the thing. Not an editor command. Oh, right. It needs to be term first because that's the Vim editor command. Okay. So let's see. GDI32, what did I do wrong there? In the GLAD example, it shows me. -L GDI32, -L OpenGL 32. Okay. Let's see here. ISOC. Okay, yeah, we know about that. And then the error, linker command failed, so what's going on? No such file or directory, GDI32. Oh, because we're still using Clang. Yeah. So in Win32, we can't do that. We need to use MinGW GCC. Okay, so let's try that command again. It's term bear make bj12 blowjob 12. All right, let's do this. Okay, so this is what I was expecting. This is a lot better, actually, even though it looks worse. this is better because we're getting errors, and that means it's actually trying to compile it. Okay, so P is running. Internal state undeclared, yes. So basically, I think this is going to solve a lot of errors right here, because I totally just forgot that we need to define a P state struct. Internal state, because they're static. So the one that's in the X11 C file, it doesn't exist in here, and even if it did, that file is disabled because MinGW32 is not defined, or is defined rather. That's actually a pretty interesting thing too here. I think, you know what? I know we're going to need to do this, so I'm just going to do it now, even though it hasn't really come up yet. We need to check if Linux is defined here, and this should prevent this from being compiled on Windows, if def. And the cool thing is, even though I'm compiling on Linux, if I use MinGW to compile this, Linux will not be defined in that compilation session, I guess. So that's really cool. All right, so that will disable the X11 stuff while we're compiling on Windows. Let's just see how many errors we have now. A lot less, I think. Yeah, so now unterminated. Oh, wait a minute. I always do that. I don't know how I always do that. Okay, there we go. That should be good. All right, now we're good. Forbids empty translation unit. All right, that's fine. And then error, we need a semicolon before that. Bool. Win32 line 9. Ah, yes. Internal state equals, we'll just zero initialize that. Oops. So let's just try to run this again. All right. Unknown type name L result. Probably because of includes. Did I not include windows.h? I didn't. All right. So let's include windows.h. So now a lot of these errors are actually just gone now. There we go. x11.h, wait, glx. Yes, because in our make file, I actually did forget one more thing. The target for library is going to be different on Windows than it is on Linux. So if we put library in here, glx is what we want to use on Linux, so this one's good. However, this one right here needs to be wgl, because on Windows we don't have glx, we use wgl. So let's try this again. Yeah, so now we have no rule to make build/wgl because we don't have a rule for it. So I'm just going to yank that. WGL here. WGL. WGL. All right. And that should be good. So basically I just copied this GLX thing and then, you know, pasted it right here, changed it to be WGL. All right, let's try this again. So now the errors that we're getting are a little better. There's a lot of warnings, not many errors. Undeclared H instance, so this is Win32 line 35. So if I just go to 35 here, then yeah, what is my H instance? I don't have one. So this is where I got stuck a little bit yesterday while I was trying to figure out how to do this. Until I found this minimal Win32 thingy. And basically what this is these lines of code here. These will allow me to create a window on using just the int main function instead of win main. That's one like major hurdle that I had here is I didn't want to use win main because I wanted this type of API. Oh, sorry. Main.c. I wanted this type of API where everything is kind of everything starts at int main, and the traditional way of interacting with Windows is through this win main function here, which just kind of blows, in my opinion. I think that's cursed. I hate it. But yeah, so now we can get the H instance, which, by the way, the reason why this is a problem, I guess I totally skipped over that, is because H instance is normally a parameter. It's normally an argument that you receive from WinMain, right? So I was like, how are you supposed to get H instance and command show and all these like arguments that I'm supposed to have? It turns out that you can just get them like this. So that is what that kind of code is for. So let's try to compile this. And now we have in function process events message and hwind are undefined. So hwind. Actually, let's just find hwnd with a capital because that's fucking weird. I don't know who decided to spell it like that, but that's weird. Okay. Anyway. What are we doing? We are fixing the fact that hwind does not exist outside this function. So I'm going to have to say internal state.hwind. Everywhere that I reference hwind, it's going to have to be internal state.hwind. Oh, not there though. And here we want our own hwind. And that should be good, I would think. Let's try this again. And now we have no member named hwind because I totally just didn't make it. So we're gonna have hwind, hwind, which by the way is a window handle. It's a handle to a window. That's why it's called hwind. And then message here. So where is message defined? Message is not defined. Basically, oh, message is gonna be, where was it? It's in here, right? Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't know where else to put it, so what I'm gonna do is just put it into the message thing right here. I'm gonna put it into the internal state function, or struct. Internal state struct. Okay. So, now we have that. Now I can basically just say internal state dot message. And that should fix that for the most part. And now, are we compiling? I don't think we're compiling. Or, wait. Are we? A lot of errors. A lot of warnings in here. Maybe we did compile? I do know... Oh, in the make file, wherever we're doing our exe, we actually need to say wine, and then, because we're going to run it in wine. Makes sense, right? So let's just see. I don't know why it's getting hung up like this. That's weird. It might just be that we just have a bunch of warnings. So let's try to fix some of these. I know that a lot of them are just string warnings. This one right here is because I'm actually going to go and reference my old project here just for a second because I don't fully remember exactly what I did to fix this. It might be the window procedure. Wait a minute. If I go in here, where do I return something? Yeah, this. This is the piece of code that I need. All right. So just paste that in there. And that should get rid of that warning up here about not returning a value. And then here, printf, this is just, we just need to include standard io.h, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that fixes that. And then if we run this again, yeah. So everywhere that, everywhere in pstart where we're doing a return, we need to make it exit 1, right? I think that's all of them. Now we only have 1 page of warnings. That's cool. I'm still confused as to why GCC is getting hung up like this. That's strange. But okay, I'm just gonna keep fixing the warnings and hope that it's fine. So we have these. Everywhere we have one of these, basically, I'm just gonna do this. And then we also have some of these, pretty sure. Oh, I guess not. I guess we don't. All right. Forbidding an empty translation unit. This one's fine. I don't care about this one. That one's on purpose. This one is not on purpose. 47. Ah, yes. Um, character, I think the way that this is implemented in Wine is all of these are const character pointers instead of wide characters. Or maybe I'm just missing something, because I know sometimes in Windows you use wide characters, and sometimes you use normal characters, so I don't know what's up with that. Anyway, we have class name here, and we're setting it to that. There we go. Basically, this is what denotes a long character, or a wide character, so I just had to get rid of that. Okay. This should also be gone. And I'm gonna put this into a variable up here. So window title equals game window, like that. And okay, so class name I kind of want to be lowercase, so VEU to do that. All right, cool. Maybe it's bear. Maybe it doesn't like bear. I can't imagine why it wouldn't like bear. What do I have open right now? I have a bunch of stuff open. All right. This has to be a makefile problem. Okay, so the all command, we're making test, right? Test is platform test, and the target for it is right here. Test requires library. Right here, we're basically saying compile with our C flags, the library. Wait, yeah, so this is the library, and then combine that with main.c, output it to test, use the include directories, link to the libraries. Wait, what? Why is this here? When in doubt, look at the commands that are being run. That's my alarm going off. Okay. Look at the commands that are being run. Let's say, so we have this right here. It did. Why is this taking so? Oh, it's because the fucking GCC analyzer takes literal centuries. That's why. Um, so here's the thing. Instead of that, we're just gonna do x86, 64. Oh gosh, I wish this was less annoying to remember what the heck this thing's called. Okay, so let's just call that the analyzer version, and then we'll call this not the analyzer. And we'll just remove the analyzer there so we can kind of, do this a little bit more expediently. All right, just my rampant OCD kicking in here. Hang on, guys. This is necessary, I promise. All 100% necessary. And I think that's the same. Yep. Nope. We're one character off. It truly doesn't matter, but, it looks better. Okay. Got just super distracted there. Okay. Uh, yeah, that's not right. So we want to use this variable instead. Min, we want the one that's not got the analyzer enabled, and then now let's recompile. Okay. So platform test was run. I wonder if we got a window. Oh, that's X11. Hang on. I ran the wrong thing. Wait a minute. What? How? How? What do we... What are we doing? How is this happening? Okay, RM RF build. Let's just do this again. And do it again. I'm not seeing a window. Normally you can see like a window flashing down here in your taskbar. I'm not seeing that. Let's see. Yeah, that's fine. Everything seems fine. I wonder if it's just I wonder if it's just that the window isn't actually being handled correctly. Let's do this. Printf. Let's just find out how often our message loop is ending, or if we're even getting to it. Yeah, we're not getting to the message loop. So, what's going on here? Ah. Let's just try this. Try to see if I can output some errors here. Oh, you know what? Wait a minute. No, that's not it. Yeah, because if I just say like trucked right here, if I should make an error, yeah, okay. So it is actually trying to compile this code. Let's just, because I just wanted to make sure of that. Okay. So it did compile all the code and it did make the thing. Why is it not running wine? Oh, it's just not running it with wine. Hang on. Test is platform test. Here we're telling it to make test. Here we're telling it to make test and then run it with wine, right? Test requires library and then CC, C flags, main.c test include. Yep, that's all good. This is puzzling. Okay, I don't know if this is actually what it is, but I totally just forgot to set is running in here. So let's try this. See what this does. But it's not even saying rev up those fryers, which is very interesting. Let's see. We are doing test main.c. Maybe we're hitting a segmentation fault or something and it's just not being reported. Let's see. How is that even possible? Wait. Wine build slash. Why is that not running properly? Okay, so here's the window. I don't understand why that's not running properly. Right here we're telling it to use wine, okay. I mean, we're saying to build test, and that's build directory slash platform test, right? And then on Windows, if we do that, it's going to be .exe. What? rm rf build. Let's just run make again. Why is it trying to do that? Oh, wait. No, no, not O. Man, I'm stumped, bro. What? Oh, guys. Oh, guys, I figured out what it is. It's this line right here. It's running platform test because I told it to. Let's try this again. Okay, now it's doing wine. Okay, yay! There we go, Win32 window after many trials and tribulations. Alright, next up we need to actually initialize OpenGL, which is going to be its own little thing. Alright, so now that we have an actual window to use, I'm pretty sure we can just go off of the GLAD example here. So here in the GLAD example, after they create the, where is it? Yeah, after they create the hwind right here, they just basically check if it was created successfully, and then if it was, then we're going to go on to create OpenGL stuff. So we're going to need an HDC, which apparently is a device context. I don't know much about it, I just know that we need one. Let's see. I'm going to put this into start right after we create the window. So right about here. That's where that goes. And then after that, this is basically just checking if the HDC was created properly, and then if it wasn't, then we have to destroy the window and, like, you know, do a whole bunch of error stuff. I want to replace all these message box calls with terminal, like, error logs, but we'll do that later. After that, we're going to have to set up the pixel format for the window. So pixel format descriptor basically just describes the pixel format, duh. And then you have to set a whole bunch of parameters of stuff. You know, the size of the PFD. Yeah. Yeah. PFD end size is size of pixel format descriptor. Oh, wow. That's interesting. So this is all, like, just really dumb, really stupid stuff that you have to do for Win32 for some reason. But yeah, let's just put that in there and forget about it. Create and enable temporary context, because for some reason you have to create and enable a temporary context before making the actual context. It's very stupid. And then in here, load WGL extensions. Yep. And then we set up the attributes, which actually, I'm actually more familiar with this. This is the version of OpenGL that we're using, so since it's the major version is 3 and the minor version is 2, that's version 3.2. However, we're going to be using 4.6 as soon as I get this working. So right now we're just going to copy this. Wait a minute, do I have that? Let me just make sure. Make current HDC. Yeah, okay, so we need this as well. We need all of this code here. And that goes right here. And then, let's see. These other attribute flags, these are pretty cool. So ARB, I don't know what that is, but OpenGL context to be forward compatible. Actually, I lied. I don't know what those are. But yeah. Anyway, create the final OpenGL context and get rid of memory, or get rid of the temporary one. Yeah. This is what we're dealing with here. We have to create a temporary context only to get rid of it. This is so stupid, so convoluted. But yeah, this is kind of what you got to do. Get rid of all of that. I don't know why that happened. That was annoying. Anyway, so we left off right there. The GLAD loader, yeah, we're gonna load GLAD, and then, wait, what? Make current null, delete the current context, make current OpenGL context, load glad, make the context current. See, this is why we use examples, because, man, I would not be able to figure this out. WGL make current, HDC open. Okay, so yeah, we left off right here. So we just need this and that. I believe that's it, because we already have the show. We already have the call to show window. So I believe that's everything. Equal I, just like that. Let's run this. And now we have hwind is undefined because it is. All right, there we go. We need to make sure it's pointing to the right handle. And we don't actually have any errors, but it didn't. Oh, wait, there we go. Okay. Yeah, so the reason for this is we need to actually include some headers here. Include glad, not gald, glad, I did it again, glad slash gl.h. And we also need to include glad slash wgl.h. Let's run the code. Undefined reference to underscore t, because Microsoft is very strange. Okay, so this is the reason why I don't use the message box calls, is because they are kind of broken. So I'll just replace all of these with p error. And then let's just find, let's find this and replace it. So dt semicolon. Ah, crap. No, I meant ct semicolon, and then just like that. And that should be okay, I would think. Let's run this. We're running a program. It's doing stuff. It's glitching out. But this is cool. This is actually good. I'm pretty sure now that we have an OpenGL context, we should be able to call, and I want to do this in here actually, GL clear color, and then we should do, we'll just do black. Oops, just like that. Just black. And also we need up here to, let's say, include, just temporarily, we're going to include glad slash gl.c, not c, gl.h, and that should give us the clear color function. And then here we can just do GL clear, GL color buffer, not butter, buffer bit, and then we'll OR that with, we'll just do the color buffer bit for now. And it's not working because we didn't call glx swap buffers, I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure that's why. So now in our, oh wait, maybe we did. Oh no, this is X11, hang on. Process events, yeah, we didn't call WGL swap buffers, so let's do that. Just like that, and hopefully this will work. HDC is undefined because it's in internal state. Let's do this again. No member named HDC. Oh, I guess it's not in internal state, but it should be. So HDC, HDC, and then everywhere we find HDC, we need to do internal state.htc. This is our device context, by the way. Basically just going through all of these and making sure that it's using the right HTC. And there we go. We have a Win32 OpenGL window that is properly being drawn to, and it's even reporting some messages, which is pretty cool. I would say this is a good place to stop for today. I'm going to do some more research, and I'll be back with you guys sometime. I'm yawning. Okay, I'll be back with you guys once we're ready to start doing a triangle. I thought we were going to get to that this time, but I don't think we're going to have time. Because how long is this? Yeah, this is already an hour long. So, yeah. Thank you guys for watching. This has been the Win32 platform layer. Let's make it a more interesting color real quick. We are already going an hour long. We might as well do something interesting. Let's just do like... This is like the worst number I've ever typed. What the heck? How did I do that so awfully? Let's see what color this is. This color is Minecraft color. Old school Mojang color. I love it. Alright, cool. Yeah. I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.